My laptop's filthy. Is this going to keep freaking out all day? I think it might.
It's okay, because this laptop's not filthy. And it's technically still your laptop.
You say technically like you're going to steal it.
I already have.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Outlawed podcast. Today I'm joined by the lovely Veronica, and we are going to be discussing UFC 270. Okay, if we're having technical difficulties with the screen, please excuse us. I need to fix it, and I have yet to do it, because we've been travelling. In fact, hang on, before we go into that, you can talk in a second. I'm not going to talk over you the whole time. Sponsors. So, NordVPN. They've been supporting us for a long while now. Obviously, we all need VPNs for various different reasons. If you're traveling and you're getting tangled up, if you're traveling and you want to watch Netflix abroad, etc., etc., if you want to watch geo-block content, because there'll be some coming up this week ahead of 270, and something about football and kickoffs, Jamie?
Yeah, 3 p.m. kickoffs.
3 p.m. kickoffs. That means something to somebody out there. All of them. All of the 3 p.m. kickoffs. All of the 3 p.m. kickoffs. Get after it. So, it's a 2-year deal. You get the first month free. It's $89. $89 for 2 years plus a month. That's 70% off. So, go and get on that. And we are also supported by BetterHelp. We'll get you some more details for that later in the podcast. And I thought I'd throw in a discount code on Full Reptile, because why not? 10% off Full Reptile, fullreptile.co.uk, 10% off. Dan Said So is the code, because I just thought of it. So go and do that. Okay.
You almost forget the name, like the website.
No, I didn't. No, I've written it weirdly here. I've spaced it out because I don't like when part of it highlights. You know, if you like type into your notes and you make it a .com or whatever, as soon as you space away, it then becomes a link.
Yeah. And
I didn't want it to do that because it fucks with me while I'm trying to read it. So I've spaced it out and then I confuse myself trying to read it.
That clearly fucked with
Look,
you too.
listen.
All right.
Let's get off on the right foot here. I had a long day yesterday.
I know.
And also, you got a head start on the research because I had, 5 hours of tattooing yesterday and you were sitting watching your laptop. So we're leaning on your notes today.
Which died like 30 minutes into it.
Yeah. No, you say that. You got plenty of research done. So we're leaning onto your notes today.
With the amount of changes,
no
I don't know.
I know. There has been loads, haven't there? Before we do that, shall we talk a little bit about some of the fights from the weekend?
Yes.
Because there were some bangers. Jake Collier. What do you reckon?
Is that the big heavyweight?
That's the fat middleweight.
Yeah.
You fucking... There we go. Fix that. There we go. That's better. Yeah, the fat heavyweight. The fat middleweight. He looked really good.
He did look really good.
He's got that like side-to-side kind of bob and weave and
the
fast hands,
wado-wado.
the wado-wado. He's got some fast hands.
He got middleweight hands, that's why.
I know, right? He was so fast. I would like to see him against Chris Daukaus. Like two big guys, a little bit of excess weight, fast hands, That'd be a good fight. But I thought that was a really good performance. Jamie and I, we were talking about it. We expected that to be like 15 minutes of slugfest. I absolutely thought it was going to be 15 minutes of slugfest.
I know, because when I was like, let's put it on, you were like, it's a 15-minute slugfest. And I'm like, no, it's not. You argued with me while I had the Tapology right in front of me.
Yeah, sometimes I just like arguing with you for fun. Though,
but I can see
it's the sport of it. It's the fun of it. Brandon Royval also had a really good night against Rogerio Bontorin, which was never, ever going to be an easy night. That was never going to be an easy fight. And Royval gets better every time he's out there. And he's, what is he, like 15? He's only just getting facial hair. He's 29. How is he so young?
And some of the other guys on the card that are like 20-something and look 40.
Yeah, I don't get what that is. I don't know what kind of training they're doing.
I feel like I
don't
said
do
40
it.
too, like.
Yeah, right. Hang on a fucking minute.
I said 40 a little bit too aggressively.
Yeah, you did.
But I mean, like,
I'm counting down. I'm like months away now.
In comparison to like 20.
Yeah, in comparison to fucking 2020. Anyway, so Brandon Royval, the raw dog, is 29. Yeah, he fucking looks like a child. Anyway, split decision over Bontorin, which has ended his losing streak. And in his defense, his losing streak was Moreno and Pantoja. I like Bontarin. I think he's got a lot to give in this division, and I think he's just starting to find his rhythm. Like that one against Kai Kara France was just wild. He's got a win over Tim Elliott, which is never easy to do, and a finish as well. I'm big on Brandon Royval, and I think Bontarin is just a tough customer for anybody.
Yeah. Sick takedowns as well. A lot of pressure, a lot of like tight hips, and you waste a lot of energy to try and get up and to avoid these shots. And Brandon did, I just think, like a great job at keep going. He kept moving. There wasn't ever a time where he got taken down. He's like, okay, I'm going to rest for a second, which I think if he would have done, he would have probably lost the fight. And I think that's what won him the split decision.
Yeah.
Was a constant movement in the right direction.
Yeah. He's very squirrely, isn't he? He's very fucking, you know what I mean? Like Sandhagen, he's the same. Yeah. He's got that kind of squirrely vibe to him. He's difficult to hold on to. Not that I try and hold on to squirrels or anything, but I went off on a weird tangent. Did you hear that they let Caitlin Chikagian's contract expire?
I heard that. Well, I saw her post-fight interview. To be honest, I saw like an Instagram thing that came up. I didn't.
That's where you get all your news from these days, isn't it?
And like the title, I don't even read like the caption.
Puppy pictures. Carry on. So what you see?
Yeah, I saw that that she wanted to extend her contract before the fight, but they said that they weren't. They were gonna let the fight play out, and that's the whole the whole header. That's all it said.
They're fucking with her. They're fucking with her because they wanted to try and get a finish. Because she'd fought Jennifer Maia before, hadn't she? She beat her by unanimous decision. Yeah,
this was a rematch.
And she's got no stoppages on her record in the UFC. Last time she stopped someone was in CFFC back in 2016. So, I think that's why the UFC might have been doing that. But I hope she's 125? She could go over to fight in one championship. Like, imagine her in that tournament with Ritu Fogat and Stamp Fairtex and, Itsuki Hirata.
I think she has because if you look earlier in her career, she did have quite a few stoppages, and she is.
But is that the standard that she's fighting at though? Like the fighters that she was up against early on when she was getting armbar finishes and finishing people with knees. She has got good knees, we've seen that in her fights, but she's just not. She's not instigating finishes.
Yeah, because she's fighting at 125 and she's 6 foot tall.
Yeah, but she don't want to go up and fight fucking Amanda Nunes or anybody like that, does she? She just don't have the power. She's a technical fighter. She's got good footwork, good boxing. She's a brown belt, black belt, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
And Renzo Gracie as well, over with John Danner.
Yeah.
She's sick. But I don't know how much she does actually train with the squad, although he has been in her corner, hasn't?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he gives you all the attention
that's very true.
You'd need.
That's very true. Who else looked good? Court McGee looked good. That was a great performance.
The Russian guy.
The Russian guy.
How do you say his name?
Borshev. Slava Claus.
Yeah.
He always gets fucking hurt though. He always what happened in this Contender Series fight? He had a really rough first round. Got a bit of a beating, and then he came back and he got caught, and then Dakota Bush started charging forward and swinging arms all over the place and leaving himself open. Yeah, it was a nice finish.
That sounded disgusting.
It did. Oh, it
that
did.
And the replay just kept sounding worse. Oh, it was gross.
So, what do you reckon to Calvin Kattar then against Chikadze?
I was a little bit disappointed at how tired Chikadze looked in the fight. I thought he would look a little bit fresher. I thought he would use a bit more movement, because every time he was initiating the attacks or going forward or pressing into him, he was getting the better of the exchanges. It was just when he was committing with his head first too much that he would just walk into elbows.
They were wicked elbows. They were beautiful. Kept walking into.
And the one that he slipped under and then came all the way across diagonally but back. That was sick.
Kattar was throwing some really nice stuff in there. The one thing I expected more from Chikadze were low kicks.
Yeah.
Because of how heavy Kattar stands on his lead leg, that's an obvious place to attack for Chikadze. Chop into that lead leg and slow his forward movement down so you can start setting up that body kick. Because it was he started off with it. He got that, he started to build up that redness on Kattar's ribs. And then Kattar started to really press forward like Khabib did against Barbosa. Like run him down, pressure into his range so it shuts down that kick. And then basically Chikadze was forced into a boxing match. And you could tell his corner were like trying to gravitate him back to body kicks as well. But he was just so, so pressured into that. I mean, Calvin Kattar was always going to have to take some shots wanting to get the fight, to get the win. But
how much do you think of that is due to the mental cardio of thinking it's 5 rounds? Because throwing kicks drains you like crazy. Like you can throw 10 punches and just it's like the equivalent to 1 kick.
Yeah.
And especially when you're throwing with power, when you're trying to set it up, it takes a lot out of you to throw kicks. So then thinking like, I'm getting like shut down or I'm getting like pressed and throwing kicks has become difficult, has become like a drain of energy. And it's 5 rounds and I'm tired. Yeah. And it's only the second round, you know? Because that's all they wanted him to do was to throw like more kicks and sort of set him up a little bit better.
I think Chikadze was thinking he was going to be able to hurt Kattar and slow him down that way. Because you've got to expect Kattar to be pushing forward like that. I just think Chikadze thought he was going to be able to hit him and hurt him with something and stop him putting all that pressure on. And when he wasn't able to, then like it's like a mental fatigue. It's like oh shit, I can't hold this guy off. And then you like start to drain yourself out of nerves. Yeah. I'm glad though. I'm glad to see Kattar got the win though, because I mean Chikadze's not going to suffer for it. He's got a lot less experience than Kattar. Kattar's 23-5 now compared to Chikadze who's 14-3. Like there's still a lot of time for Chikadze to come up into this division. But Calvin Kattar, he looked good. I still don't think he can beat Max though.
No.
I still don't think he can beat Max. I don't know. Who would you like to see him against next? Korean Zombie would be a good one. I'm just trying to pull up his
But isn't
records.
Korean Zombie fighting for the belt now?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Yeah, Korean Zombie would be a good one.
Maybe Henry's going to call him out.
Probably. What was I going to say? Yaya Rodriguez would be a good fight.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That'd be a good one.
That's the one.
You
read my mind, yeah.
Katie Yaya Rodriguez. I normally have the rankings pulled up. Let me get that up.
I just want to see Yaya fight again.
Yeah.
I love watching him fight. He's so sick. He's like a video game playing.
Is that how you think you are when you're sparring? Is that like you?
Yeah.
Is that what you try and channel?
Yeah. That's my like expectation versus reality thing.
How you look and how you think you look.
Yeah. Well, that's how I think I look, but not actually what happens.
Okay. Shall we get on to this weekend's card?
Okay, let's get on to the card.
270. Let me pull this up. There's been so many changes to this card. But so the first fight on the card, I'm just pulling it up now. That first fight on the card, Jack Della Maddalena against Pete Rodriguez. That kid, Pete Rodriguez, has had 4 pro fights. He's making his debut at UFC 270.
Yeah. With
the heavyweight title in the main event.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does that do to his fucking mind? He's taking that on short notice because Della Maddalena was matched up against Wally Alves, who's withdrawn due to, we don't know, because Tapology's not telling us. What's that? Does it make a difference, do you reckon, when they're making the debut on a big event like that? Would it be easier to make a debut on the first fight of a fight night at the Apex?
I don't know, really. Like, I think it all really depends on each fighter, how they approach and like their mentality. Some fighters love spotlight and love things like that and think that's where they shine the best. And others, would rather start small. But that's kind of what you do with fights previous to the UFC is you are already starting small. And then you expect, like, in your mind, if you think UFC, whether it's fight night or whether it's a pay-per-view, it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, unless you're in the main card or unless you're like the main fighter, it's pretty much the same thing, but less because you think less people care about you as the fight. I mean, there's more focus on the main card.
Yeah. The arena is kind of empty as well at the start of the night.
Yeah.
Like, it's a big kind of half empty, well, even more than half empty arena. I don't know. It seemed like an odd matchup because I watched a couple of his fights. He is good. He's got good hands. He's got good footwork. He does that lovely like switch stance right hook that Sam Creasy uses really well. Like it's
good power.
Yeah, good power, natural good power as well. You can tell. Good hands, good boxing. What's interesting about his record though, as I was going through it, so he's Pete Rodriguez, nicknamed Dead Game, which is a good nickname. I like it. 25, 5'9", which is short for welterweight in my opinion. 6 fight win streak. So he's been fighting on Icon. He stopped all of his opponents in the first round. Minute 25, 10 seconds, 41 seconds, 2 minutes 21, and he is blasting people. Really naturally powerful. The only times he's struggled, if you go back to his amateur career, so he's 6-2 as an amateur. He's got 1 loss by rear naked choke in the first round. Every other one of his fights, he's a finish though. Mostly first rounds. So there's 1 unanimous decision loss on his record, which is way back 2016. So hang on, I'm confusing this. 1 UD loss on his record, amateur. 1 rear naked choke loss on his amateur. All of the other fights are first round finishes, bar 1, which was a second. And he started to look a little bit kind of laboured, but he still maintained his power. Even though he started to like kind of slow down and his opponent started to kind of find his way back in, he's just got that natural get out of jail free kind of power. But now he's, what's that? 5 years on, 2021 was his last fight, June last year.
Yeah.
And he stopped the guy in the first round. I think the UFC have had an eye on this guy from his amateur career. I think they recognise his physical attributes and his natural talent and how good his hands are, and they've kind of put him on a note on the wall and just been like, well,
just in case, we'll keep an eye on you, see how you play out.
But this is a horrible first fight.
Absolutely.
Like Mike, I keep getting his name wrong. Della Maddalena is tough. He's got one of them curved noses. Did you watch any of these guys?
Yeah, I saw these two. I just think, well, with Jack, his 2 losses are obviously like his debut and the one right after, which to me it just tells me that it wasn't as easy as he thought it was going to be, or he didn't have his groove, and then he maybe took it more serious, because after that it's just like knockout win after knockout win.
Yeah.
And if you have a look at them, the combinations are pretty diverse. It's like he's throwing elbows and he does have a lot of power, but he seems to have a lot more technique than Pete does. It's not just I have a punch in the bag that's gonna knock you out. I do have that, but my goal is to be like a more complete, better like overall fighter. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just evolve my game, and he does mix up a lot of his strikes, which is kind of why I just think he's gonna win.
Yeah, I think it's a tough debut for Rodriguez, because I think Jack Della Maddalena. God, they've got to figure out. I'm glad I'm not commentating that name. Holy shit. When he was on the Contender Series, I noticed he was fighting really well boxing out of both stances. Like he was switching to southpaw and landing that check right hook, and then switch back to orthodox. He had beautiful boxing combinations in both stances, but I mean, got caught in that first round still. He is vulnerable to get clipped. He is hittable. You can tell that by the shape of his nose. And I think if Pete Rodriguez clips him in the first round, he could put him down. I do think there is a genuine risk to that. But I think Della Maddalena is tough enough to be able to get through a rough first round, take a couple of shots, use his experience, and grab a hold of Rodriguez and smother him, and get into the second round. And then I think Rodriguez is going to start to slow down quickly. I tell you who Rodriguez reminded me of is Kelvin Gastelum. Like the way that he bobs and moves, he's got that kind of natural. It's like a Mexican boxing style where his hands are down a bit and they sway with him, but then he's got that switch stance. I could see him catching Jack with that switch, right hook, right on the chin, rock him, win the first round big, and then gas in the second.
But it's also like it's a short notice fight for Pete to take. So if I'm Jack, I think this guy clearly has first round knockout power. He has 1 amateur win in the second round, but
That was a struggle, though. That was.
Yeah,
I watched that
exactly.
earlier.
It was like it wasn't easy for him, and he clearly gasses out. So kind of take the Ciryl Gane approach to things. Yeah, but like pick him up.
Stay away from the
don't
power.
go straight into it just because. Usually, it's ego that gets in your way when you approach that as a fight, and it's ego or like too eager to make an impact. You think I'm the first fight, I have to have to show that I'm this great thing and I'm the favorite and I'm something, and that sometimes can play against you. But I think he's pretty smart, and I think he's been taking it serious. So,
I mean, he got a little bit sloppy in that third round on the Contender Series, Della Maddalena, and if he's like that. If he expends too much energy in the first two and he's like that in the third, I think Rodriguez is still going to be able to maintain enough power to hurt him. So
to knock him out, though?
I don't know. Maybe.
Think of like if he wins 2 rounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's now...
Rodriguez?
No, Jack.
Okay.
See, I don't say the last name. So Jack seems so
Della
much
Maddalena. Della Maddalena. Della
too
Maddalena.
much.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, I think the smart thing for him to do would be to have a defensive first round, tie him up as much as possible, exhaust him, wear him out. He is smaller as well. Rodriguez is the smaller of the two fighters. And when Della Maddalena was going on the Contender Series, Sean Shelby said that he was one of the best prospects coming out of Australia in a long time. So again, I think he's someone that they've been keeping their eye on. But they brought him into Contender Series, and I think maybe they had Pete Rodriguez in mind for Contender Series as well, but they just thought, fuck it, we'll do the Contender Series fight on 270 instead. So anyway, which way are you going? Are you taking Della Maddalena?
Yeah.
Only if you can say his full name, though.
The Jack Della Maddalena.
Yeah, you say it nicer than me, look, you see? I'm going to go the same way.
That looks Spanish. It doesn't look...
Yeah, but he's not Spanish, he's Australian.
Okay,
so you got to say it in an Australian accent.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay, yeah.
I can barely do English right now.
I'm going to go the same way. I think Della Maddalena is going to do it, but I do like Rodriguez. I just think he might be a bit too green for this point. 4 fights into his career, Like, get him on Bellator or PFL or something and get him 4 more wins and bring him over a fight at 8-0. I wish there was a bit more structure to MMA like that, so you could kind of climb up through the rankings, through the divisions.
Yeah.
Anyway, next one. This is a fucking banger. Ilia Topuria. Again, here we go.
I'm going to blame it on like the mic not catching it, not the fact that I couldn't actually do it.
Ilia Topuria against Ciryl Gane. What's your first pick straight off? How you going?
Ilia.
Of course you are. I knew that. He's fucking good, isn't he?
He's
very good. 11-0. He subbed everybody in the first round. Stopped everybody in the first round apart from one person in the second.
7 submissions, a triangle, 2 guillotines, an anaconda, 2 rear naked chokes, and 1 triangle armbar.
Check you out.
So chokes for days.
And
Charles Jourdain's submission loss is a Bravo choke.
Oh, is it? Oh, dear.
Yeah.
He's a bit...
But then it was also
though,
against somebody who had like massively long arms.
Well,
he just kind of like wrapped it.
But he still did get caught, and Topuria is very, very slick. Julian Erosa is good, to be fair. He is very savvy. But I like Charles Jourdain. He's just a bit reckless, isn't he? He's a bit kind of...
Well, this fight is a little bit reckless for him to take. It's not like...
I hope they're paying him well.
Yeah, it's a great fight if he does manage to get the upset, but it's not really an intelligent fight if you're looking out for your career, which Ilia definitely is. He's like the prime example of everything is catered for him and his career, and that's all that he has on his mind. That's its focus. He has people around him from cars to clothes to everything. The team is totally centered to him. And he takes it serious and he doesn't take unnecessary risk. Like with Ryan Hall, he didn't go like, I'm also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I have all these submissions. Let's go on the ground and I'll ground and pound you. He got him tired, waited for the opportunity, pinned him down, and then, and then went into the strikes in the moment that he felt was correct, not so much in an ego.
There was no ego. I know what you mean. He didn't fight out of his ego. He didn't try and prove anything on the ground. even though Ryan Hall was trying to steal his shoes the whole time.
And people were like booing as well.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, it was still a first round stoppage.
Yeah,
you can't complain at that. I think he's going to be too smart. I think he's going to be too smart and too clever, too calculated for Charles Jourdain. I think especially when Jourdain launches him in with the knee.
Yeah,
I think he might be able to take him down off that. You know, they're good opportunities. He's got great body lock takedowns. He's very, very fucking strong in the clinch. Yeah.
I think he's gonna drop him with a body hook like the Russian guy. Yeah. Have you seen his like body hooks? They're disgusting.
Yeah.
Fully torques with them and then just rips him out. And Jourdain, although he has very good and like sneaky like uppercuts in the clinch and stuff, he does get caught with that a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like he's gonna corner him and just rip his body.
You reckon? Yeah. Okay. Body stoppage, is that what you're going for?
Not body stoppage, but that like the beginning of the end is going to be the body shot.
Okay. So Ilia Topuria then.
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of like an ego, I guess. Not like an ego, but like.
No, I'm going the same way. I like Charles Jourdain. I just don't think he's as patient and gathered as he needs to be. But he might surprise me. I'd like him to. But I think Topuria's on a route to the top. Okay. This one was a fight that Jamie and I talked about last week. We could just drop that in, couldn't we, Jamie? We could just and cut it, and then Jamie's sitting in that seat. Ping! And then we talk about that fight. Have you had a look at these two? Vanessa Demopoulos against Silvana Gomez Suarez.
Yes.
Juarez.
That's like the accents on the name, if you see the little thingy.
Oh, I thought
that
was
tells
a mark
you
on my laptop screen.
You idiot.
There's all kinds of shit on this. 8 beans on toast in front of this thing. It's like sprayed. Like this is the origin of COVID, is this the keyboard on this laptop.
I know, you have to be clean like me. Look at how great
That's
this
my
is.
fucking laptop, and the only reason it's clean is because I stopped you eating around it.
It's still clean.
I know.
So why is your dirty?
Because I've been using this. This is like a 1978 MacBook.
Okay.
Like
still
before,
dirty.
Like
evidence on the listen.
Listen.
You don't need to bring shit up.
Okay,
that isn't needed.
Hang on.
Okay?
Personal and
Stop.
professional life. Back in the podcast
All
realm.
right.
I'm not going to talk about the state of the kitchen when you're picking on my laptop. Okay. But I'm going to get shit for that, aren't I?
Shit in the kitchen? Yeah.
No.
What?
I'm going to get shit for mentioning the kitchen to you.
I know, yeah,
shit.
Exactly.
But you do cook all the food, so.
I mean.
That's because you won't let me
I'm
know
all
the
for
kitchen.
stereotypes.
Okay, go on then. Give me a lowdown on this one.
Okay, so I think Silvana is a lot more technical. Mm-hmm. If you do that, you distract me.
Sorry, I'm stopping.
Bink.
Don't even go on. Carry on. We found Bink Avenue, didn't we? Is it Bink Avenue in thing?
Yeah, we did in Scotland.
Carry on.
Okay, so I think Silvana is a lot more of a technical striker. I think she's working at Entran Gym now. Well, I don't think she's working with Entran Gym now with like Brandon Moreno, and you have Pitbull, which is Pitbull Rojo. I think he's fighting in the next pay-per-view, which is one of Brandon Moreno's training partner. And I think she's very like technical. I think she's really skillful. She has great calf kicks. Mm-hmm. She fought this one girl that the other girl actually overhand like closed her eye nasty. But due to those calf kicks, she couldn't even stand up.
Oh, I saw that one.
Yeah, it was nasty. And the only thing I would say is that she struggles when the opponent is like a bully.
And Demopoulos is a bit of a bully.
And she is a bully. Like, technically, I don't think she is as good. I don't think she is as good on the ground. I know people are saying, like, she's a grappler. I think Silvana is better on the ground as well. I think she's just better all around. But, like, if you see with Lupita, like, she went 5 rounds with Lupita. Mm-hmm. And lost a majority decision. But she got clipped, and she just kept going. She's tough. And with JJ Aldrich, in the, I think it was the second or it was the third round, where she was getting picked apart, but that didn't stop her. That didn't that didn't really like diminish until she went for a takedown that was a little bit too far away, but she still like stepped over with the punches and was just a bully. And that kind of keeps her in fights where she might not technically be in the position to be there.
Yeah.
And Silvana struggles when you make it, because if you think about like one of her losses, for example, is Poliana. Poliana is like, she just walks you down big. She's a big girl and she's a bully, right? Lupita fights like a bully as well. And I just see her struggling with it. I see Vanessa catching her with like an overhand because like she does have a very nice jab, but the jab leaves her with like a wide opening to get caught with that overhand. And I think Silvana's going to start, picking her apart until Vanessa goes like, that's it.
You reckon? Just going to club her?
Yeah.
Bloody thing. Let's see if that works. So what's your final pick then?
I don't want to.
But you're going to pick Demopoulos?
I'm going to pick Demopoulos.
Oh yeah, I'm going to go the opposite way then. Yeah. I'm going to pick Silvana. Because I think she's got good enough boxing fundamentals, and Demopoulos, she's real bouncy. So anytime she's about to attack, you can see it on her lead leg. And I think Silvana's going to be able to just kind of keep sniping her with that jab and stifling her attack. It's a good fight. I think it's a good fight. But I think that Silvana might win it. I can't remember who I picked last week.
Yeah, Silvana.
Did I? Yeah, that's good because it would have been weird if I picked the opposite way. Yeah, I think Silvana. Okay, shall we move on?
Yeah.
Raoni Barcelos against Victor Henry. This is a good fight. And Victor Henry a lot of people have been singing his praises for a long time. He's a very experienced, well-rounded fighter that is due his opportunity in the UFC. Skilled dude. 21-5 is his record. And his last win was on LXF6 against Albert Morales, who is also a UFC veteran. He's been fighting on Rising and having a lot of success, stopping everybody. Real slick guy. Got a win over Kyler Phillips as well by split decision. And he's taking on Raoni Barcelos. What do you reckon?
Have you seen the video that he made? I don't remember like what MMA media covered it, but he did like a video about his life and stuff, and like in the gym and.
What when he was in Japan or
no, just about him in general.
Oh, no,
like
what Victor Henry? I haven't seen that one though.
It's pretty great. Like he just seems like very down to earth guy, somebody who like just was born in I guess in like a troublesome neighborhood, got shot.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, like the bullets kind of went past him and stuff. But overall, very very down to earth. He says like, if I wouldn't be this, I'd probably be in the wrong scenario of things. Has a taekwondo in the background, so I think that's what helps him be so agile with his kicks that he can just like fling up with ease. And much like Brandon Royval, he doesn't, if he gets taken down, he doesn't accept it. He just keeps moving, keeps working to establish a better position.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Did you see in his last fight against Morales where he was on his back? So he kind of walked him down and he was switching stances and picking him off. He's got very good instincts at closing spaces. I noticed that. Very good at kind of stepping through with hooks and stuff. But at the end of that fight against Morales, he was on his back with the hooks in, and you could see him kind of waiting with his right arm and hitting him under the chin, like under the arm here, to bring his chin up. And he hit him like 3-4 times, and then he went boom, straight into the ring. He could choke. It was pretty slick. But it was like you can see how calm and calculated he is. I think he's going to beat Barcelos. I think he is. I like Barcelos. I think Barcelos is good, but I also think he looked slow in his last fight. I think he looked hittable. I think he struggled with Valiev's footwork. I just think, I don't know. I mean, he's not old, but he is 34, and he's not the most agile of fighters. I think Victor Henry's going to have a big debut, and I think he's going to show his fight IQ. I think he's going to be very, very slick. You're not buying it?
No, I'm not buying it. That's it. I'm not.
So you're going Barcelos?
Yeah.
How does he win then? Give me your prediction. How does he win?
He has a win over Said Nurmagomedov. That's also like higher up in this card. And
Said's good, but
like,
he's also not. I mean, don't get wrapped up in the Nurmagomedov name. He's not related to Khabib directly.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the guy's like,
win,
he's a good striker, and I think a better striker than Victor.
Yeah, but Valiev's not amazing. Like, he looked good in that last fight, but where's let me pull up his record. I just think he looked like he didn't have much of a clue against Valiev because of his footwork. Like, Valiev was able to stay on his toes and move, and it just, I don't know, I just don't see it. Where's Valiev here?
But like on the ground, for example, if it goes to the ground, he has great takedown defense. Actually, like on the feet, I just think he's overall just better.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's just better. I don't think he looks very like agile, but I think he's very smart when he fights. Like, he puts himself in really good pockets, like during the striking, to like he like punches and sets himself in a position to where like the other person can go. Has a good like parry to counter. Has great movement and great understanding to where I don't think he uses that much energy. The only thing I would say is that maybe this weight cut is a little bit harsh, so he might struggle to pull the trigger sometimes because of getting tired.
Getting tired.
Yeah, just the thought of getting tired might be scary.
Yeah,
because it's pretty scary to be that tired.
Well, I'm still picking Victor Henry.
Okay.
I have high hopes for him. I like Barcelos. He's very good, and Valiev is a tough fighter, but I expected Barcelos to be able to trap him and hurt him. And he was never able to really corner him very well, I didn't think. And I think Victor Henry's that last performance against Morales, he looked like he was very smart and composed. And I just think I read an interview where he said that he's arriving at the UFC in his prime. I'm on board. Okay. Jasmine Jasuda Vicious against Kay Hansen. So Jasmine 6-1. Fighting out of Canada, and Kay Hansen is 7-4. Jasmine looks strong. She looks like she's got good body locks. She's on a 2-fight win streak. She's only lost by split decision to Elise Reed. Kay Hansen, on the other hand, is coming off a loss, isn't she, to Corey McKenna, a decision loss. But she was on a 3-fight win streak before that with that triangle armbar over Jinju Frey in her UFC debut.
That was sick.
That was really nice, yeah.
That was very sick.
Like, set her up.
Very impressed
Went
with
for
that.
the armbar, let her sit up into the triangle, and then finish with the armbar still. What do you reckon?
I'm going to go with Kay Hansen. Kay Hansen,
yeah.
Yeah. I just think that like Jasmine struggles when like she's on the back foot and when the people are attacking, and I've seen that in Kay. I've seen her be able to do that, like that, just to bring that aggressiveness.
Jasmine's a lot bigger. She's 5 inches taller, and she has a 4-inch reach advantage, 5-inch reach advantage. That's massive.
5-inch, yeah.
That's huge. You reckon Kay's gonna do it? What, take her down?
Yeah, no, it's just that I feel like Jasmine's like his approach is very predictable. If that makes sense. Like, she just wants to like come in, use a wrestling, take you down, do some ground and pound. It's like it's very, very like ABC approach. And I think Hansen is just a little bit has a higher like fight IQ. Just by that armbar, it gives you like a good insight of how she is, and she hasn't fought in a little bit, right? If I'm not
Jasmine?
mistaken.
Yeah, it has been a little while.
No. Hansen. She hasn't fought since that Corey McKenna fight.
Which was when?
2020.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, in November.
Damn.
And that was a really good fight as well. But
so do you not think that's going to affect her being out for so long? Because Jasmine's last fight was 2021. September of last year.
Again, I think that depends a lot on the fighter.
I tried to find that fight. I couldn't find it. Her last fight in the Contender
I did
series.
find it. You just have to go. Yeah, you just have to go on the
fucking Fight Pass. It's so difficult to navigate.
Yeah, you just have to like trick it.
You have to trick it.
To trick it to give you what it wants.
I need to fix this. So you're going with Kay, are you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Jasmine.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she's going to be too big, too strong. I think she's been more active, and I think there'll be pressure coming in for Kay Hansen because she's been out for a while. And I think Jasmine's going to be able to take her down, hold her down, and beat her up.
It's also 10 years younger, Kay.
Is she really?
She's 22.
Kay's 10 years younger than Jasmine.
Yeah, Jasmine's
she ain't got
32.
She ain't got that mature lady strength then.
Yeah,
We'd
that's
say old
true.
man strength in the male divisions, but obviously it's different here. Yeah. Okay, so you're going Kay, I'm going Jasmine.
Yes.
And she also has Vicious in her last name, you've got to remember. Jasuda Vicious. Jasuda Vicious.
So that's kind of like the Novak situation.
It is, yeah. Okay. Let's move on. Tony, I always say, is it Gravely? Gravely? Gravely. We'll go with Gravely.
Okay, Tony Gravely.
Tony Gravely against, and I keep wanting to say Salmon Oliveira because it's an I and you can't really tell that it's not an L. It looks like salmon. It's Simon Oliveira, who looks really good. Has a lovely check left hook, check left hook. Caught his opponent clean in his last fight a couple of times. Really nice, polished striking. Did get backed up a little bit, but, had a good performance. Split decision win. Tough fight against Gravely, I think.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
The thing is, I didn't really pick before. I just wrote down notes and then waited to hear what you said.
Right.
And then see if I agree or not. And then, add it up to then see what my choice is.
Okay.
I just thought that was the best way around it. Just in case, I missed some details that you saw.
Okay.
I could quickly change it.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you basically want me to go first then? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I want you to go first.
Well, I'll go down the facts and stats. So Gravely's an inch taller, but he has a 3-inch reach disadvantage. 100% takedown defense for Oliveira, 50% takedown defense for Gravely. I think that Oliveira's got better boxing. I think he's got sharper hands. I think he's got good defense. And I think he's going to be able to stay out of the way of any of Gravely's shots. And I think he's going to be able to stuff his takedowns if Gravely decides he wants to grapple. And I think that 3-inch reach advantage is going to be a value with that sharp boxing because he's got a nice spearing jab and he can walk Gravely onto that. And Gravely does get a bit careless sometimes in the way he moves forward. He does bounce side to side, but he's not moving his center line enough to get out of the way of that jab coming down the pipe.
He also has 5 submission losses, and Oliveira has 11 submission wins.
There you go. Look at that. So we're going with Oliveira, are we?
Yeah.
I kind of think we're both leaning in that direction. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. What's the next one? Frivola. Now, I didn't have a look at this guy. He's undefeated, isn't he? Did you have a look at, what's his name? Valdez?
Yes. Also from Entran Gym, which is...
same gym as
Brandon Moreno.
Gomez Juarez, Silviana, Gomez Juarez, Silviana.
No.
Same gym? No, did you not say that?
Yeah, I did.
Silviana, Gomez Juarez.
Even Gomez like it's her first name.
What is it then? Say it.
Silvana Gomez Suarez.
Okay, that. Just cut what I'm saying and just drop V in a bit of a deeper tone. No one will be able to notice.
Silvana.
There you go. Yeah, do it in a deeper voice, then we'll just dub me.
Right.
Tell me about Valdez then. 10-0 undefeated.
This dude loves to fight.
Yeah.
He just loves to just row down and fight. He has 7 TKO wins, but they're mostly by ground and pound, which when I saw the fights, there were fantastic fights, but he did ground and pound opponents that the ground wasn't their forte.
Right.
That the striking was the forte. So that's just the part that I was thinking. He did look pretty exhausted in his last fight. He was. It was a contender series, and after the first round, honestly, I didn't think he was going to get up from his stool of how exhausted he looked. But he went and got a knockout anyway. So
he came in on he's on a massive win streak, but his last 3 fights before the contender series were all first rounders. 2 of them rear naked chokes. Rear naked chokes and ground and pounds. That's what it looks like. Matt Frivola, though, he's got that UFC experience. Do you not think that pays off a little bit? He's tough as a motherfucker as well. Coming off 2 losses, though.
Yeah, but...
How did you pick it?
Well, I'm still thinking about it.
Oh, you're still thinking about it?
Yeah,
listen. Fuck
listen.
it, I'll go Valdez. He's got the best never rest on his chest. I like that. El Reyadito.
Yeah,
What?
Yeah, I do think I will go for him. Just because he, like, his last fight, like, he's coming off a knockout loss.
Yeah.
Matt is. And then he also lost to Polo Reyes, which has the same, like, Mexican style of, like, boxing in order to clip him. So that's kind of where I can see that, like, similarity in him struggling with that style.
Yeah.
Although it's not exactly the same, but, you know.
Yeah. Both same height. Valdez has got an inch in reach. I mean, it's not really much in it, is it? Yeah, I'm taking Valdez. Okay.
All right,
moving
who's
on.
next?
Who is next? Hang on.
Michael Morales versus
Trevin. I like this kid. I enjoyed his Contender Series fight. He did spend a bit too much time rubbing his heel against the fence for me, but I don't know whether that was nerves because it was Contender Series, because you could tell in his interview before it how much it meant to him. It was like, this is the way out for him and his family, you know what I mean? And that's, whenever you hear that, you can imagine what kind of pressure's on his shoulders. Like, imagine him getting that call. He's 10-0. He gets the call from the UFC. Hey, we want you on the Contender Series. You're fighting this guy, Veretennikov Nikolai, who was fucking hard as nails and never stopped trying to move forward. He must have had that immediate celebration of, oh shit, I've got this opportunity, and then, oh shit, I better get ready for this opportunity. And then that pressure must have set in. That must be a heavy thing to carry. Like when I was stepping into the octagon, it was like, it was for me. It wasn't for anybody else.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have like the pressure of, I've got to pay the bills, I've got to do this. I mean, of course I wanted it to be a profession, but like, it seemed to me from his interview like this is his opportunity to dig himself out of a hole, you know, a bad situation.
That happens a lot with like some of the South American fighters. Like they really just need opportunities, man.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of events that happen within South America that don't get registered on Tapology, don't get registered anywhere. So they will have a few fights and they will have, you know, some experience, but it's just they're just a little bit behind in the terms of coaches, in the term of events, in the term of opportunities to show, and the fact that he can go and represent Ecuador, which is obviously not at the same level as like Brandon Moreno is, but it's like it's all about raising the sport also in your country that you want to go and you want to represent, because you see the struggle that is around you, and you see how difficult it is to just get a fight. Like, and flights off of South America to fight in any event just automatically eliminate you as a possibility for an event. So like you're talking at least like 1,500 just to get, you know, the guy over to fight if he's coming from South America. So
it's difficult to get those opportunities in the US.
Very, very difficult to get them. And and in America, it's like, it's easy. You just go to that MMA gym and you train a bit, and you know, I'm not saying it's easy. There's a very high competition.
Yeah, but you can drive to the gyms that are going to get you those opportunities, whereas for him it's, you know, a lot further away. And did you notice how long his reach is? So they're both 6 foot. Michael Morales and Trevin Giles, they're both 6 foot, but Morales has a 79-inch reach. It's a 5-inch reach advantage as a welterweight. That's massive. Like the average welterweight is like 74, 75. And then you think John Jones is 84 and a half, and John Jones is what, 6'4". Like he has fucking really, really long arms.
He's also really calm.
And he's 22 as well.
He doesn't fight like a 22-year-old. For how calm he is, for how he won't go crazy.
The one thing that gives it away.
What?
Superman punches off the fence. Like he was trying to nail that. Yeah, you like a bit of. He was trying to nail that Superman punch off the fence over and over again. But one thing I did like about his Contender Series fight is that suplex he landed in the last 10 seconds. Did you see it? Just.
But you got to think in the Contenders thing. It's not just you win and you get a contract.
Yeah.
You have to do something impressive because you're fighting.
He did win a decision though, right?
Yeah, no, he won a decision, but you still have to. like the whole purpose is you have to impress, and maybe you'll get out of your comfort zone a little bit in things that aren't so intelligent, or not so intelligent, but like a little bit more risky, just to get that contract.
Yeah.
Because just because you win doesn't mean you're in the UFC.
Yeah.
In that show. So that can be like, in his mind, if I get a Superman punch win, you know.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
definitely
going to
get a contract, you know.
But that's maybe where the pressure plays in, right? The additional pressure of, I've got my opportunity, now I've got to impress. And he might not do that in normal performances. Like now he's got his UFC contract, he might now start to calm down a bit and really settle into his game. And he can't take risks against Trevin Giles. Like, Trevin, this is a winnable fight for him, and that's why I think the UFC have made it. It's a winnable fight if he can keep himself safe and fight smart. But Giles will test him for the UFC to see where his level's at.
Yeah.
But at 22, they're not going to rush him. You know, I think it's a good fight for him to come in on his UFC debut. I think he's going to do it. I'm all for the undefeated fighters right now. What are you saying?
Yeah, I think he's gonna do it. I like how Trevin fights. I like how he's always looking for an angle before he attacks. He won't just like attack you here. He'll look for your open side and then intersect and come with a 1-2, and he changes his approach if you're southpaw or orthodox. So that means like he is thinking about it. He is thinking about angles. He is thinking about his attacks, and he does have a lot of power. But I think Michael's gonna win.
Yeah, yeah, I do. I mean, yeah, Trevin, you can tell he's thinking, but he also likes to kind of use his face as bait for his opponents. Like, get them to swing so he can then start countering, because he knows he's got power. Okay, we're both going for Michael Morales then. Mm-hmm. All right, last prelim, the feature prelim of the card, which I already know your prediction because you couldn't help me tell it, but tell me earlier. Rodolfo Vieira against Wellington Turman.
Yes. Wellington does a lot of eye pokes. I mean, I know in his
eye pokes.
Yeah,
is like that his thing.
No, well, his last fight it was against Sam Alvey, right? And the referee took 2 points off in the final round.
Yeah.
But it wasn't only. I mean, the first one where he took the point off, Sam really like it didn't eye poke him, and he was like
did
trying
he ham
to
it up a little bit?
Oh, so much, so much. But whatever, I'm not. But if you see like back to his other fights, that is kind of a tendency. Like he does this to discourage you from coming forward,
right.
Quite a bit.
A bit kind of reiki towards the eyes a little bit.
Does that constantly?
You know, like how much is he? So do you reckon that Rodolfo Vieira, who's obviously going to try and take him down, do you reckon he's going to be trying to post on his face and push him away and get done for eye pokes again?
Well, yeah, I think he's probably going to get a point deducted for sure. But
so he's definitely going to lose a decision even if he doesn't get submitted.
Yes, unless.
How do you see him winning? Give me a for instance where Wellington Turman wins.
He gets the same as like the Anthony Hernandez fights. He just exhausts him, and he does have the wrestling to do that, to cause that. But the only issue with that, because I thought that would probably be a good game plan, right? Just clinch him up, make Rodolfo use a lot of energy, and then look for your opportunities later within the fight. Mm-hmm. But he does seem to really slow down later in the fight as well. So it's quite a risky game plan because he doesn't have that stamina in the end that he would need to execute that.
Yeah. I think I get the impression that the UFC want Rodolfo Vieira to be successful in the UFC. I think they feel like he's marketable to the same people that love Jacare.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they can target that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu demographic.
Damian Maia, Jacare, all of that.
Yeah.
Well, he's an absolute monster.
He is a fucking monster. But then when he gassed against Anthony Hernandez, I think a lot of that like aura was lost.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
He just was so tired. It was like, what do I have to do to get out of here?
That's the only way jiu-jitsu I would say doesn't work, when you're just exhausted. But when you just can't.
But he's so heavily muscled though. Like imagine what that feels like. You know what it's like when you're being like climbing or grappling or something, and like your fucking forearms are blown up and you can't clinch properly, and you're trying to hold your water, and you're like feel like you can't.
Everything
just
goes like slow motion, and then the punches come, and you're just like, oh.
Like I know we're going to talk about it in a bit, but like Francis when he fought Stipe the first time, I just love the moment where he walked out at the start of the second round, and he just kind of planted his feet and like swayed like a big tree in the wind. Like, just if you push me right now, I might fall over.
Yeah, I've been there.
So yeah, I'm not mentioning it. You brought it up.
Whatever.
I'm not. Might shit
as well.
I'll wait for the cameras off to start shit talking. You.
Oh, thanks.
That's how I'm nice to you, right?
Oh, wow.
So
that's how you trained me, right?
So you're telling me that Rodolfo Vieira is going to win then?
Yes. One thing that I did like about him, that was really loud, sorry, is that on his last fight, he took the lessons from Anthony and like applied them.
What? Treadmill?
No. But like, there is a lot of expectation when you're Rodolfo Vieira to just go in and submit somebody in like 3 seconds, because you have to, just the same as the weight of a country behind you, which he does have for Brazil. He also has the weight of an art behind him. Mm-hmm. He's an ADCC world champion, IBJJF world champion, numerous times. Mm-hmm. Like, and the guy is like continues to compete, and it is absolutely great, but that I have to finish the fight immediately, I think caused him to gas out and do all these unnecessary things. And instead of coming out as a defeated mindset, he came out with what I think is a representation of jiu-jitsu, which you compete a lot, you learn from a mistake, you go in the gym, you fix it, and you apply it, and you don't let it like mentally defeat you. Mm-hmm. And with his fight against Dustin, he used a lot of like intercepting jabs, which I loved because they were really quick, really efficient. He just kept like nailing him with it, and he didn't rush. There was a few takedowns that I think like that he rushed a tiny bit, but overall in the fight, he seemed a lot less, I have to finish this, I have to do this for jiu-jitsu, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Great pressure, always moves, like the space he gives you, which isn't a lot, is always for a benefit in his behalf.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's the level that he's been competing at, though, isn't it? I mean, he's only 8-1 in MMA, but his experience in jiu-jitsu is going to add to that massively. So you think he's going to sub Wellington Turman, do you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do feel like he looks a lot older than he is.
He does look a lot older than he is, yeah. I would be interested to know what his diet and nutrition plan is. Just leave that. Is that long enough silence? I think that is, yeah. Anyway, let's move on. So Rodolfo Vieira for both of us.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Rodolfo Vieira.
Rodolfo Vieira. Okay, main card time. Jamie's going to do a little read for better help, which is now.
As with many other areas of life, sometimes we need help to work out the best way forward, and our own mental health is no exception. That is why today's episode of the Outlawed Pigs podcast is brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp will facilitate matching you with the most appropriate licensed therapists for your own individual needs online. This isn't a self-help program or a crisis and emergency line. It's a professional, secure portal to get you connected with a therapist who can help, while also taking away the awkwardness of waiting rooms. Join the other 2 million people who are taking responsibility for their own mental health and take steps forward. Mental health is a critical part of our lives, and sometimes we need help to get it right. So go to betterhelp.com/outlawed or use the code outlawed at checkout and you'll receive 10% off your first month.
And we're back. Okay, Michel Pereira against Andre, you say his last name because I'm going to butcher it.
No, because what if I say it wrong and then all Portuguese people will be like, taking away your passport and then I get deported again? No.
you know this is not Brazil, right? You know that.
I didn't get deported in Brazil.
Oh.
But I have a Portuguese passport.
Oh, yeah, but that's not...
And they're going to take my nationality away.
He's Portuguese.
You don't even...
Oh, he's Portuguese.
They don't even know
Okay. No, anyway, what's his last name? Say it.
Filao,
I
think. Oh, it's probably not.
Oh. Leave in the comments below if Veronica's pronunciation of this is wrong. Okay, Andre, Filao. That sounds about right.
Let's just say Andre, just in case I'm saying it wrong.
Fila. Anyway, 14-3. Has got some wins on his record already. He's coming off a first-round stoppage over Stefan Sekulic, who's very, very good. He stopped James Vick with a knockout, beat the hell out of him up against the fence, dropped him a couple of times. The closing shot for me, though, although it wasn't the last shot he landed, was a nasty dig to the body, and you just saw James Vick just go, ugh. And then he started cracking him in the head again, and the referee stepped in and saved him. This guy's good. This guy, I think he's very good. He's on a 4-fight win streak. He's picked up a couple of losses, but obviously, you know, we learn from those things. Chidi Njokwani is not an embarrassing loss to have on your record. That was in Bellator. He's lost to Chris Curtis in the PFL, and he's lost to Antonio Dos Santos Jr. in LFA. But the wins that he's got in his last 4 fights have really set the tone, in my opinion. And although Michel Pereira is a lot of fun to watch, I think he has a tendency to do silly things.
Yeah, he does look like in pretty great shape, though. They put a picture with him and like
Who, Pereira?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, he's shredded. He looks like he's been carved out of mahogany. And he doesn't look like he's 28 either. Anyway, look, we're digressing here. We're digressing. Okay. He's on a 3-fight win streak. Imadaev, that was a rear naked choke in the 3rd round. Chaos Williams and Nico Price, both by unanimous decision. So if you think about how he came into the UFC, he came in like the human version of Tigger off Winnie the Pooh, and he's bouncing around like a motherfucker doing backflips and nearly knocking out ring girls on the stage at the weigh-ins. He came in against Danny Roberts in his UFC debut and stung him with that wicked flying knee, which was really nice, and that further reinforced the idea of doing capoeira all the way to the cage. So then when he came in his next fight against Tristan Connolly, which was the weirdest situation, because I was there for that. I was working the desk with Karen and Tyron Woodley, funnily enough, who didn't watch any of the fights and played on his phone the whole time. So I'm standing on the desk, like, watching these fights, and Tristan Connolly had come in on short notice and taken this fight. Pereira was supposed to be fighting Sergey Khandoshko. That fight was cancelled, so they brought in this Tristan Connolly, who was a late notice replacement, who was like 4 inches shorter. He looked like he'd been like building walls like earlier that day. You know what I mean? He just didn't look like he fitted in the place. You know, he's like 36, 5'10", 68-inch reach. He's a bit of a come on, let's fucking have it. And Michel Pereira was bouncing off one side of the fence to the next and ran out of gas, and the whole arena, there was this like surge, and everyone was like, "Oh shit, this guy's gonna beat him. This guy's not supposed to win is gonna win." And it was the weirdest but coolest moment, because like at the end of the fight, if I remember right, Michel Pereira was on the floor, and Tristan Connolly was just ground and pounding, and the crowd were going, "Yeah," like fucking cheering him on. I mean, he's not had a good win in his last fight, but anyway, we digress. I like Pereira, and I think when he's calm, I think he's got the athleticism and the skills to be a real problem. But I just don't know how long he can keep a lid on it for. And coming off 2 unanimous decisions, I feel like that's going to bug him, because he wants those spectacular flying knee finishes. What do you reckon?
Especially in a pay-per-view.
Of course.
Where there's
Last fight
lots
on the main
of
card.
camera. First fight on the main card.
First fight on the main card, sorry. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. But Andre looks good. There's no doubt about it. He looks good. He's got good hands. He's got good power. He's trained out of Sanford MMA. Who's your pick? I've just talked over you the whole time, man. Who's your pick? What do you notes say?
I talked over you than the last one because I got really excited.
What do your notes say?
My notes say parade.
Oh, do they? Yeah.
Yeah.
By capoeira.
By capoeira, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all for capoeira. I love capoeira.
I know you are.
Ding ding.
I did capoeira for like a day. I landed on the back of my head and never went back. I loved it. What I remembered of it, like my nunchaku training. Okay, what do you reckon then?
You just asked me.
Are you going for Pereira? Is that all you're giving me by capoeira?
Well, no, you said
give
capoeira.
Me a round, then.
You like.
Okay, give me a round by capoeira in which round?
No, I'm gonna go for my countryman. That I don't know how to pronounce his last name. God, I'm horrible.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's good patriotism, right?
Yeah, beautiful patriotism. I'm gonna go with him as well.
Yeah,
because his last couple of fights, his last 4 fights in particular, especially that knockout over James Vick, I think he's just got the discipline to just stay calm and just deflect anything wild that Pereira's throwing at him. He'll deflect the capoeira, and he'll nail him with some basic nice boxing skills.
Just looks very focused in himself, and I think he's in a similar situation to where, like, for example, Ilia Topuria is with, like, representing his country, or Michael Morales is like that. Those same representation, and I have a big responsibility, and I'm going to take this very seriously because this means a lot more than just myself. I think he has that. For example, for Portugal, I think there's only one other fighter that's from Portugal.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
And myself.
Yeah, but you're Venezuelan, so that's different.
Yeah, but Portuguese
You got a Portuguese
too.
passport.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a Venezuelan expired passport, which is so
You're just
difficult.
collecting passports. You're like a secret agent. Got a folder full of currencies and got a selection of passports and a bunch of different pseudonyms that you can go under.
Different residencies as well.
There you go. Look at that. Fucking hell. I don't even know half the story. All right. Which next one? Are we moving on?
Yes, Cody
Stamen against Said Nurmagomedov.
That he's not related, and they say that in every fight.
In every fight. But
They
he's
say
very
they're
good.
great friends, though.
He is very good.
Yes.
He is very good.
He's
He's very long. He's very slim. He's very
Zabit-like.
very Zabit-like. Yeah, he is very Zabit-like. Check you out. Patient, switches stance nicely. Had a great performance against Scoggins.
A lot of spin attacks,
Yeah.
which has
Chops his opponents down with low kicks as well, which is
Yes.
nice. Low kick and spins, and that was Hamos he was doing those spinning attacks against, wasn't it? Yeah, I like this fight. I'm not a massive fan of Cody Stamen's style, to be honest. I mean, I appreciate his, technical ability, but it's just not something that particularly appeals to me. I like the bit of flair that Nurmagomedov brings, even though it's not reckless flair. He's not just throwing wild shit. He's quite calculated when he's throwing it. And Cody Stamen's got an incomplete tattoo.
Yeah,
which
which
is
seems
always-
to be like the main reason why you don't like his
it
style.
kind of is. It's like
It's a tattoo thing.
it is.
Yeah.
There's a gap there. Why would you leave that gap there?
Maybe he has like a
Just
good
finish
reason.
it off.
You
This
don't
not-
even
this-
know. Well, why would you get a whole ring around?
Why would you not? If you're going to get a tattoo that
it's like a
looks like a
black
band
ring.
around your arm, just get the finishing bit of the band. If you want that finished, I'll send you the money for it, my friend. I always think the
Okay,
same
what about
about
like
Robbie Lawler.
bracelets that have like things like that?
But that's so
Maybe
you can
it's
take them
like a
off. He's not
bracelet.
fucking sliding this thing on and off, is he?
Maybe he's gonna have something else in there. You don't know his whole
What's
tattoo
he-
plan.
I don't know his whole tattoo
And maybe
plans.
he's
You're
gonna
correct.
have like
What's
I
he
don't
gonna
know,
have?
like somebody's name
He's
or
going to have
something.
my face tattooed in there. Is that what he's going to have?
Yeah, I'm punching you.
So which way you going?
Okay,
Fuck.
I'm gonna go. I think this fight's gonna be a lot harder, but because of Cody's toughness, much like how I feel like Vanessa versus Silvana.
Yeah.
That like I think Saeed is technically smarter. He's also been able to catch people on one foot just because the way he swings his body and his momentum and the way he sets up his foot. Like for his spin attacks, he'll set them up to where his foot is here. So he's not just spinning on his center line. His foot is already there. So the spin is a lot easier.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of shots to catch you on the way because he knows people are going to try to come in.
Like pulls you onto stuff a little
Yeah,
bit.
exactly. And very agile with his kicks, like hip dexterity, pretty amazing.
He's got one thing I will mention is he's got a weird position on his hips. Have you noticed?
Yeah, it looks like
He looks
jiu-jitsu.
like Gunnar Nelson's similar to it. Yeah, jiu-jitsu or hockey. Like hockey players are always kind of built like that, where they stick their ass out a little bit because they're always doing that forward skating.
Have you seen Powell or one of the Meow brothers? They kind of like
I remember
have
you
their
mentioned- yeah, I
their
remember you
butt out
mentioned
and they
that.
walk like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do
Wada
jiu-jitsu.
wada.
Yeah, it's like if you do like stuff to stay fitness or they're like to be fit, and then you see these guys and you're like,
Yeah, and you get all the mangled ears and the fucking crooked
maybe I should
fingers.
just eat burgers because they're healthier than
Oh,
them.
you mentioned burgers now. That sounds good.
That sounds like what I'm gonna have to go make after.
I'm just gonna think about burgers for a minute. Just,
You're a puppy dog eye me to make it later. No.
that sounds good.
I didn't even buy it.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Which way are you going? I'm going Saina Magomedov.
Yeah, I am as well.
I think he's going to catch Cody Stamann with a spinning back fist. He's going to catch him on the forearm, and Stamann's going to be rocked, and the Magomedov's going to jump on him and finish him.
Yeah, but Cody's tough, even though he doesn't have a complete tattoo.
Well, it would be tougher if his tattoo was complete, because that's the reason why people leave that bit of gap in between, because that's the sensitive part. And honestly, it's not. It's really not that bad. I have both mine done. I had fucking 5 hours yesterday and then drove for 5 hours, right? Bouncing all the way, listening to heavy metal.
Dude, she
kept looking over
impressed.
at me from the passenger seat going, what the fuck is going on here? Why is he... I just want to just close my eyes for a minute and listen to Rob Zombie and shit fucking driving down the motorway.
And you came back and you got into a whole like rock music.
I did. I was in here fucking DJing left and right. I need to be I need to set up like a radio DJ station or something. Because I was doing it for a bit with Gimme Radio, and that was cool, but it was just metal, and I don't want to just do metal, because sometimes you want to throw a bit of Bob Dylan or Pink Floyd in there, or Tool. Goddamn, what a band. Anyway, Saina Magomedov?
Yes.
Okay.
You need to pick different people that I'm picking.
I have done with some of them.
Okay.
I've only picked opposite you on the ones that you're wrong on. If you're correct, I'm not going to disagree with you just to disagree.
I hope.
But if you're wrong, then I'm going to...
Okay, so next podcast you do, when I'm right, you're going to have like a whole statement like, I apologize to Veronica because she was right, and...
We'll have to start the podcast with one of those really sincere apology videos. I'll read from a piece of paper. I'd like to take this opportunity to apologize to Veronica for saying that she might have been incorrect in some of her predictions on the last week's show. But it turns out she was wrong. My picks were fucking right. So then we're all good. Okay, co-main event. Brandon Moreno, Davison Figueiredo. So I've done a war room on this, which is already up, isn't it, by the time this goes up? Or is it go... Oh, hang on. It will be up by the time this goes up, but it's not up yet.
It's up in 50 minutes.
Is it really? Is it actually up in 50 minutes from now? It's now 9:12 on Monday.
I feel like we should pause this. I could watch it, and then I could come back.
No. No. Because tell me what you think. Brandon Moreno, Davison Figueiredo.
Man, I've watched his last fight, him getting the belt, and I cry like every single time.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Oh my god, just the feeling he gets when he says like "Go Mexico." Like, I've seen it so many times, but it still makes me want to cry.
Yeah, it's awesome. I wonder if he cried when he got the Lego version of the belt. I would have cried. I'd have been like, "Yeah, fucking UFC belt, and, a Lego belt! Oh my god!" It is fucking. I love his Lego obsession because then it makes me feel a bit less weird. And you're obsessed with Lego now, anyway.
Yeah, but everybody knows he's weird.
You built this yoga frog look.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's fucking dusty. Jesus, I need to clean this set.
Just like your laptop.
First and last time on the podcast.
Whatever.
Don't get comfortable in that seat. Too much fucking lip from you. Yoga frog. And who's this? This is what's the name out of Ahsoka out of Star Wars. So it's not just me that's already dusty. That was on there the other day. Jesus Christ. This is why we shouldn't get a puppy, because we're already dusty enough.
This is why we're getting a puppy. So you could look clean in comparison to
if we get a long-haired one, at least it can do a bit of the dusting for us.
My hair already does that.
Okay, anyway, we digressed. Brandon Moreno, Lego fan, skilled fighter, won his last fight by Rene Kachot, which was wicked because he set him up for it. He kept trying and testing and baited him.
Got submission of the year.
So, yes, it did. No, it didn't.
Yeah, for
Not
UFC.
My pick. Yeah, well, my pick don't. No. I gave Islam Makhachev submission of the year, but that was a close second. Along with, this is the actual honest truth. I actually picked Andre Muniz against Jacare, but they went, yeah, you can't break that down because his arm snaps. Like, oh. Yeah. So a tip to young fighters out there. No, I was going to say don't snap people's arms because then you won't get picked, but fucking snap away. Snap away. You can regrow limbs. Humans regrow limbs. We know this. Okay. What's your first take on it? Because they're draw and their Moreno wins.
One thing I will say about Brandon is that he's been doing, I think it's like commentary in Spanish.
Yep.
And he's been analyzing a lot of fights, and he's been looking at a lot of different fighters. He's been helping. Well, he's like the captain of the gym, which means that he's mentally always thinking about fights, always looking at different fights, always looking at different openings and opportunities and different moves, and is always like on top of what's coming out and what's new. Like, for example, the calf kick is an example of something that's like new, but the application of it was a little bit after, something that he would have seen immediately and been able to practice. Which that's a part that I find really interesting. Just like Juliana Pena, because she was doing a lot of commentary and stuff as well.
Yeah.
And then
It makes you watch a lot more fights, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
So then, as a counter to that, then what about Davison Figueiredo training with Henry Cejudo?
But that's the thing. If somebody else is doing the research for you, do you really, under high pressure situations, capture as much mentally as you would need to? I guess it depends on the fighter.
So something that I talk about it a bit in the War Room. Something I noticed in the first Brandon Moreno fight, Davison Figueiredo was quite happy to foul him over and over again. Like, he was like poking him in the eyes, and I think there was a groin strike in there that was pretty bad. Like, to me, it felt like Davison Figueiredo came in there to hurt Brandon Moreno. And in the second fight, it didn't quite feel like that. And then once the fight was over and Moreno had won the belt, Figueiredo almost seemed happy for him. And I don't know whether that changes again now he's lost his belt to him and he goes back in there and he's like, right, I'm going to fuck this dude up. And that version of Figueiredo is terrifying. And that shape that he was in that photo you showed me, was it yesterday? Like, I think, I mean, you got to think what kind of work he would be getting with Cejudo. Even if it's not focused on Brandon Moreno. Even if he just went to Cejudo just to train, he's still going to get much, much better. Cejudo's a very, very good all-round mixed martial artist. And I think that the issue that he was having with Brandon Moreno, especially in the second fight, was the speed of his jab. So in the first fight, he came out hard. Like, he started the first fight really, really quickly. And Moreno was able to hang on and then start establishing his jab. In the second round, he didn't come out in the second fight, he didn't come out nearly as fast. And Moreno was able to start establishing his jab early. Now, Cejudo's got a good jab. He's got good wrestling. Like, Cejudo could potentially be a good alternative, a good version of Brandon Moreno, a better version of Brandon Moreno than Moreno. Like, does Cejudo come in and beat Moreno if they fought? Probably.
I don't think he can make weight, though.
Well, but I mean, technically, like, I think Cejudo's a better all-round mixed martial artist. I think Moreno's really good at some things. I think he's a very good wrestler. That lovely rear naked choke he's got, good neck attacks. But it's his jab that set him apart in that second fight. And I think Cejudo is equally as talented. So I just think generally Figueiredo is going to be in a better place in this fight.
Yeah. Did you see the Countdown show where it was saying that Figueiredo had just opened up a new gym and he was he said he was just exhausted from trying to find the training partners, trying to set up the gym, bring in the employees. That's
no good.
Yeah, you just don't want to be in that situation for when you're rematching a draw.
Mm. And like Figueiredo's not even booking his own haircuts now, is he? He's sitting next to Cejudo and getting his barber to do it while they're watching fights. I don't know. I honestly, I mean, I'm a big fan of both of them, just generally as mixed martial artists. I like Brandon Moreno personally. I like the fact that he's a humble kid. He loves Lego. He's a bit of a nerd. I just have a feeling that Figueiredo is just going to come in and fucking put it on him this time around. I don't think he's going to give him the respect that he did in the second fight. The space, I think he looks physically more imposing this time around. I think his weight cut's going to be better this time around, which was a factor in the last one. And then the fucking division's stuck again, because then we have to have a rematch with these two guys. Because now we've got a draw, and then Moreno wins, and then Figueiredo wins. Now we have to have a fourth match to figure out who belongs to who has the belt. But then I will say, if Figueiredo loses, I think he moves up a weight class.
Yeah, well, I thought he was going to. I thought he was going to. Like those guys that Henry Cejudo trains with, like the physical performance guys. They seem to be absolute experts at taking off body fat.
Yeah,
they like everybody that goes in there gets super shredded, but I don't think that's necessarily like Brandon Moreno's never been particularly shredded.
No, he's
never looked particularly like physically impressive. That doesn't necessarily always tell
Especially not when he's standing outside the Lego store with two big bags.
The only thing that worries me with Brandon is the amount of media he's done.
Yeah.
the amount of you have to do this interview and that, and if you think he also works with the UFC and he's also doing this other job, and I'm sure he's just taken his break and focused on his fight because this is obviously more important, but there's still a lot of people telling you you're great, and then even if in your mind you tell yourself, nah, don't, that's like a venom that comes in your body and you don't realize, and it's just taking over you.
Yeah, that does concern me. I was pulling for Moreno, but I do think Figueiredo is going to do it this time around. I think he's going to take the belt back. That's my pick. Yeah? No?
I go for Moreno.
Oh, just to fucking disagree with me.
No, it's just
as always.
Yeah. How can you not?
Yeah, that's it.
How can you not like the
you were
kid?
saying that earlier, weren't you? Sometimes you wish you'd picked more for the person that you want to win rather than the person you think's going to win. That's fine. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I do that sometimes. I just think that Figueiredo looks like a beast this time around.
Yeah, he does look pretty scary.
Okay, main event.
Oh.
What did you think to the sparring footage to start with? Do you reckon it was conveniently edited? Was there more of it where Francis Ngannou was landing more shots?
First, I'd like to say that like they're both good friends of mine, and
that's that. End the show there, then. I mean,
I'm not gonna say anything that hasn't already been put out in terms to like jeopardize anything or just in because they've all both been very, very nice to me. So I don't have that issue with the team like that's been portrayed. I don't have that. I think they're both great. The sparring footage, though, yes and no. Yes and no, because MMA Factory in the gym that they were at, which is in the right side of Paris, if you're just looking at it, it's a very, very tiny gym, and there's like a bit of curves and gaps in, and there's always like a lot of gear around here and a bunch of other people at the same time, so you don't have a lot of space, and you got to think about these sparrings are
fucking big dudes as well.
Yeah, and they have loads of big guys, but during those sparrings, you have very limited amount of space, and you can't throw with power because it's all like, no, dude, like calm down, this isn't a fight, this isn't this. So if you take away Francis' main asset, which is the fact that he can knock you out, obviously it's like that Chris Eubanks, it's like if you take away his power, then but you can't, because that is very much on the table. It's exactly this. So in those fight footage, Ciryl, for a tag game, he'll beat pretty much anybody. He's always going to win, and he'll win with people lighter than him. Hell, he'd probably beat me in a tag game. And he's always moving. He's always like with bands. The dude never ever ever stops, and he doesn't let things bother him, like Francis does, for example. Which is why I think this move to Vegas has actually benefited him, because of the mentality of Ciryl Gane and Francis Ngannou, they're completely different. Which means that when you approach a fighter, when you're coaching a fighter, sometimes I'm going to tell you the harsh truth and all this isn't really the best way to go. Which I don't think it is for Francis. Ciryl wants to be intelligent and wants to think about things and it not be so much an emotional game. Because for him, everything is a game. He's always dancing, always playing, always doing anything. So if you can give him like information that helps him create a trick out of it, he will absolutely love that. And he will apply it, and he'll apply it in well, like you say, like play sparring, which he's great at. I've seen him in training, about to crash into another group of guys, and he threw himself, so he didn't land on them. Francis wouldn't do that. Because Francis
just take them both out.
Yeah. Francis is, I am the king here. And you move.
Yeah.
And not so much like an ego thing, but just sort of like a personality thing.
Yeah,
and I think
it's a heavyweight mentality. It's like they clear the space as they walk, as they move through it. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
You got to think of how he is when he walks into any space, though.
So do you think Cyryl's in the back of Cyryl's mind? Do you think he's going, I've got to keep this a tag game because okay, make it simpler. Do you think he respects Ngannou's power to the point where he won't get caught by him?
I think he's scared of Ngannou's power.
You do, yeah.
How
can you not? Logically, you've got to be.
Because he has felt his power and he has put Ciryl down.
Yeah.
That's the video that wasn't shown, but it is also true. I will come in like for Francis in that. Because anytime Ciryl would tag him over and over and over again, Francis would get mad and then swing at him.
Yeah.
And if it caught him just like a little bit, then
it'll knock you over.
It does. And that wasn't the purpose of that sparring session, which is why that footage doesn't really apply. Like if we're doing situational sparring or if you're my fifth round, come on, man. It's not necessarily that, but
so who
do you
wins
think
and
Cyryl's
how?
scared?
Who wins
of
and
that?
how?
I think Ciryl wins probably in the fourth round, I would say.
Do you think Ngannou is going to get tired at any point? Or do you think Cyryl's going to actually be able to hurt him?
I think Francis is coming in with a little bit of an emotional...
He's pissed off because of the
Yes.
The whole circumstance.
Yeah, the whole circumstances
interim
with
belt
the
is
coach
bullshit.
and
That's bullshit. Like bringing an interim belt was unnecessary. The drama between the coaches, the way he walked past both of them after Cyryl's last fight and just completely blanked them. But then I also think that's good motivation. And the other thing is where it leaves him afterwards, because that's got to be on his mind. Like you always want to be able to just think about the fight, but then in the back of his mind, his stance and relationship with the UFC is not great. So that's an additional pressure. Kind of. I mean, in a very different context, but like the kid off the Contender Series who was carrying the weight of his family on his back. Like, Ngannou's in a very strong position regardless, because even if he doesn't re-sign, he'll probably get 2 or 3 boxing matches and make what he would in 10 UFC fights or more. But it depends what he wants. You know, he probably doesn't want to go out on a loss. He probably doesn't want to pick up a loss to Ciryl Gane on any terms. So there's going to be massive pressure, as well as the pressure of his UFC relationship not being great. That's a concern for me, because I think when we saw him against Derek Lewis, he was gun shy because of his first fight with Stipe. Like they kind of stood and stared at each other. And then when I look at Ciryl Gane against Derek Lewis, who's the biggest knockout artist in the UFC, like statistically bigger than Francis Ngannou, Ciryl Gane is actually like he's playful in that fight to the point where you can tell he respects Derek Lewis's power, but he knows that he's not going to be able to touch him with it. Now, I don't know whether Ngannou's 0 to 60 is quicker than Derek Lewis, and I would think it probably is. But can Ciryl Gane stay out the range of that for 25 minutes or less is the question.
I will say also, he has brought in some sick training.
Ciryl has.
Yeah, he's brought in, I can't say like his name. I'm sorry, and I was also commentating his fight, and I still can't say his name. But Greco-Roman, in world championships, like has competed. Big guy, just like Ciryl, like huge, great like charisma and stuff. But he has a lot of like training partners from like Dagestan for the wrestling and stuff. And you have to think about the whole INSEP, which is the French MMA, not MMA, the Olympic Training Center. So he has access to Olympic boxers. He has access to Olympic wrestlers, a lot of which have now transitioned over to MMA Factory due to the fact of the opportunity to do MMA and it being legal in France. So he has access to a lot of specialized things that
they're going to keep making him better in each individual range.
Skill-wise.
And you've got to think, if you're an Olympic heavyweight boxer, you're probably going to be struggling for sparring partners anyway. So to like for like they're going to be looking for people like Ciryl Gane who can move, who can control his shots, who isn't necessarily the biggest puncher, but he's very technical. But then Ngannou's in Vegas, and one of the best things about Vegas is that there are a lot of heavyweights around, even older heavyweights that are floating around that are still there to train with. Anyway, let's get to predictions. I think Ciryl Gane's going to do it by decision.
I think he's going to frustrate him until he wins.
Yeah.
Which I think Francis is very easily frustrated which you could tell by the way he walked past Fernand.
Yeah.
You could tell that like that's gonna. If you got to think, you see across the corner, you see your coach that you're not. You know, like they do have their disagreements, which I think is a clash of character, not so much of like any side,
any wrongdoing.
Yeah. I just think it's a little bit of a clash of character because Francis like did fly to Paris. Like I remember being in Paris when he was going to fight Stipe the first time, and he had flown from Vegas to there.
I remember
for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing here?
Yeah, that makes no sense. But that's out of loyalty and respect for Fernand. But then, I mean, the accusation seems to be about ego, so I think they both occupy
character.
the same space. Yeah,
but if you see how like Eric treats him, it's always like, oh wow, that was amazing, that was this, that was that.
I think he likes that to kind of
to like that helps him grow. To some people that makes them lazy, but to him it helps him grow.
Different coaching points in it for different people. So we're both going Ciryl Gane then, are we?
Yes. Both
okay. Wonderful. Right. Well, we have 2 war rooms up for this one. We have the main and co-main event. My breakdown show is also going up on the BT Sport channel. I'm not sure when that is. If you find it's geo-blocked, get on NordVPN. And you can get 2 years for $89 and you get the first month for free. That's 70% off. Also, check out BetterHelp. Anybody out there that's needing it, reach out. I know there's a lot of people that are struggling. Pandemic, lockdown, changes in job status, etc. Reach out if you need it. It's very important. Also, fullreptile.co.uk. Use the code DanSaidSo for 10% off. And I think we're good.
Sure,
enjoy the
love
fights.
That.
Well, I mean, it's better than don't tell what, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
All right, nice one. Good stuff. Catch you next time.